Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles of the Bust number 548, continuing to play through Backpack Battles. And so, welcome to our first post-eclipse video, right? We'll be out here playing the Reaper, maybe putting a little sunshine in your day. Man, what a bummer that eclipse was. That was a big letdown. But let's go ahead, jump into this thing with the Reaper, see what we can do. And so, reasonable enough start. I do like to kick off with the broom as far as the Reaper goes. It just lets you build into the shovel. You don't particularly care that much about your early game attack effectiveness because you're getting a lot of your damage out of the Fly Agaric and out of the storage coffin. And so having that economy-based item within the shovel gives you that a little bit of early game attack, but most importantly gives you the economy without going for something like the piggy bank or going for the gemstone box. So happy to pick it up. Always happy to get healing herbs on sale. We'll pick up the garlic as well to help combo with the Fly Agaric. Take a reroll and see what turns up here. And so not a great addition for what we could potentially get. Like, I don't really like the piggy bank. It just doesn't have enough start of battle things to really pop off. We don't need another broom at this point, right? I'm not opposed to picking up more brooms and trying to build towards wands a little bit later, but it doesn't really affect us right now. Otherwise, like, we can pick up the customer card. It's just I'm not a huge fan of it early, since the higher rarity items tend to be a little bit more expensive, and all we want in the early game tends to be like bags and food. And so, like, I'm not amped about it. It kind of sucks to have to roll again, but we'll see if something at least turns up. And interesting stuff here. Happy enough with this. I'll pick up the leather armor. Having it on sale will carry you through the early stages of the game. Just getting that big 45 armor boost gives you like 50% health on the first round, and it's very challenging to fight through when we're gaining a little bit of health out of the garlic, a little bit of health out of things like bananas. So I'm happy enough to pick up. The question is going to be is, do we have enough space in our bag for all of this nonsense, right? So if we want to maybe have a start like this, right? It's like we can do the 3 item start if we want to put the leather armor in here, or we can pick up the bag, but the bag doesn't really do anything, right? We can put the bag out here, but we only have 3 slots left, and so kind of awkward, but we'll get this working. Hopefully the Fly Agaric is enough in the early game to help pop off, and then I am going to reserve the bag. I want to make sure that pops up for the next round. So 3 item go. Let's see what we can do. And so yeah, look at that. I forgot. God, we're starting at 25 health. The leather armor literally doubles or triples our health, right? Starting at 25 and it giving us 45. We almost start out with 75. Just gives you just a humongous wall of health to have to fight through in the early game. Good stuff there. And okay, interesting pickup with the hammer. One of the big build-around items coming out of the Reaper is going to be the dagger, right? You have the cursed dagger that you have the opportunity to build around, which stuns or on stun triggers the extra attack, and those extra attacks putting debuffs onto the opponent. And so I'm not opposed to it. You know, this early in the run, it's quite interesting to see the hammer turn up. The downside is just the amount of space we have in our bags, right? We got the 6 slots taken up with the leather armor, the 4 from the broom. We would sell the broom if we add in the hammer, but this is getting kind of tough to manage in terms of what we can actually fit in here. And so I think I'm still on board with it. We will want to sell the broom if we're going to go for the hammer, but you know, we do have the other option here in the pan. I'm just going to skip on the pan though. Let's just get the broom up and running, or get the hammer up and running. And so we do need 1 more gold. I guess we'll just sell the. Do we want to sell the herbs? Right? It's like short term, the herbs are going to be better than the garlic, but long term, the garlic's going to be better. I think we'll just get rid of the herbs. Starting off with the leather armor should be enough. So we can get the hammer in now. We are still kind of lacking in terms of bag space, but this should be a nice start. And so what this really starts to get in my head is if we're going to build towards the hammer and build towards the dagger, the thing that I'll be interested in here is if we go up towards the vampiric armor stuff, right? We already have the leather armor that can tie into it. It does give us a little bit of backdoor space if we want to go for the Nocturnal Lock Lifter instead of going for the Cursed Dagger. But these are the things that I think we'll be building towards here in the early game. Looking towards dagger builds, looking towards vampiric builds, since they both kind of tie together with this high impact items that we've already picked at this point. So it's a little early to be, kind of pigeonholing yourself into a build, but that's what I kind of have in my head right now as this has started to assemble itself. Again, another tough round for opponent trying to fight through all of this health that we get through the armor. I'm curious if he's even going to be able to break through. The last opponent could not. This guy didn't either. Sucks to suck, bro. And all right, good addition here. I'd love to pick up every single dagger that we see. And just finding daggers now really kind of hammers home going for the hammer build. LOL, pun intended, I'm sure. But if you caught our last video, this was one of the problems that we ran into as we started trying to do a hammer build, but the daggers didn't turn up. Having a dagger turn up before round 3 here feels like quite a high roll. So happy to add it in. I'm not opposed to picking up blueberries. Like the 1 slot food item can be pretty good. It's going to activate both the garlic and the fly agaric if we put it onto the board right now. And you can get some decent usage out of the mana items as the game goes on. And so, like, I'm kind of tempted to go ahead and pick it up, but like the big thing we need right now are bags. I guess it's tough to pass on. All right, it just fits in here nicely. I think that even without the dagger, we're going to have a fairly easy go with this next round. We've just been crushing the people with our leather armor start. So opponent's caught up in health, right? the big start out of the Pyromancer does have a lot of health here, but this battle should drag on, and as this battle drags on, I feel like our poison is going to outscale what he gets out of the heat. And so we're going to start dealing more and more damage as this poison scales up. He's going to start running out of stamina, and we got there just barely at the end. Oof. All right, got to find some bags. And so happy to add that one in. We can take the garlic. It's not super awesome at this stage, but what we're going to want to look to do is our coffin is really kind of shitty with the items that we have in it. 2 items in the coffin is bad. If we could just load it up with 4 foods, right? So if we get like a little bit of a lineup, something like this, to where we start cracking the foods down one side, it's going to give us a lot more activations on the coffin. So I think I like the garlic in that sense. Let's roll a little bit more, see if we can't find another bag. Not interested in anything here. And then we did get another bag. Excellent. And so yeah, let's start to build some of this up. And so I like how we can arrange a bit of this. The way it's going to be a problem is the hammer still takes up a fuckload of space. And so we can still... Let's see. I think that's kind of working in terms of our bag here. We'll look to get the hammer down on the bottom. We can then put the blueberries right next to it so we don't lose out on additional slots to the left. And then we can fit the armor up top. And so it's not, I guess, perfect at this point, but it's starting to come together. All right, that looks reasonable. But we've gone from 2 slots taken within the bag to 6 slots, right? Or 5 slots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we'll get that up closer to 8 as we get a little bit more bag space out here. Load that thing up with daggers, it's gonna look good. Not certain what opponent's doing here. Looks like garbage. He's never gonna deal enough damage to break through our armor here. Should be a pretty easy round to fight through. He's still trying to scale up out here, but just seeing a bow along with the torch, it's not going to be enough to fight through the armor. And okay, so we have to start asking ourselves the real questions. It's like, do we want to build towards potions? And, probably not. I'm not opposed to going towards potions, but you really have to either be building towards the cauldron, or you have to be building towards the big scythe, the death scythe. And I don't really foresee us doing either of those, right? We're planning on building towards either the cursed dagger or the nocturnal lock lifter, and then otherwise we're just not going to use it. And so I am okay with turning the pestilence flask into the poison dagger. It's a very expensive pickup there, but it is a powerful dagger to be striking with over and over and over again, getting those on-hit effects happening to kind of combo off with the hammer and the poison we get out of the coffin. And so I'm on board. This guy looks a bit ahead of us. He's going to run out of stamina pretty quick, I think, and so we might be able to build up against that, but it's not going to activate our Pestilence Flask, which is kind of shitty. Still got him in the end. Ripperino, my dude. Okay, looking good. Getting an additional bag, getting the dagger. Now, this is a kind of curious spot. I think we do want to pick up these Box of Riches, right? As far as our stuff goes, we got 2 daggers now. Both of the daggers will have sockets in them. There's 2 sockets in the hammer, 2 sockets in the leather armor. It's just going to give us a lot of opportunity to pick up extra damages here. And so we can look to put, say, like poisons within the daggers, so we can stack, or we could put emeralds in the daggers to stack that way. We could put rubies in the leather armor, especially if we're going to end up going towards like a lifesteal build. I think that's going to work out okay. My hick-ass accent breaks through on these videos on occasion. It's like I can tell when a little bit of twang really comes in and pops off, and so that's what you get when you're from Appalachia. But nonetheless, let's see how we want to arrange this now. Like I definitely want to start getting the daggers in the bag, and I'm ready to start just kind of breaking away from the food. I don't think that we're gonna build towards mana. Right, we have the orb up here if we really wanted to build towards mana, but a lot of the building towards mana involves using things like moon armors and using things like Staff of Unhealing, and we aren't going to probably build towards either, right? I guess we could pick up the magic staff right now, and that would give us a bit of opportunity. Or sorry, we could pick up the mana orb now and then maybe find a broom. But brooms do get more challenging to find as the game progresses on. And so, like, I'm not amped about this idea of building towards mana stuff. And so I think that, you know, we're going to focus in on these daggers and then probably just focus in on poison. So we'll leave that at home. Let's see. You got to start getting this arranged a little better. I want to get the daggers in the bag. All right, so that looks good. We can put the Box of Riches up at the top somewhere. Probably need to pair it off a little bit more with... how does this start to look? This armor is just incredibly awkward in terms of fitting in the bags. Maybe this is a little bit better. We get the bonus attack speed on the hammer and on our good dagger, and then that leaves us with a single slot that we can put the blueberries in, right? And then we can start to at least load up the fly agaric still. And so where do we stand at this point? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slots taken, and so we're starting to pick up, at least in terms of getting max value out of this thing. So the one thing I will note that I would like to kind of pull off is whenever I'm going for hammer builds, I do like to pick up yellow potions, whatever they're called, the stamina potions. You can see us run out of stamina with the hammer over and over and over again, and these tend to be like a little bit burstier type compositions, and so that's another thing that's kind of on the table for what I want, but it's not critical, I don't think. And so, yeah, we're starting to at least get it together. We've got the gems coming in. That's nice. The food, like the fly agaric is fine, but I think the food build is kind of past. I'm going to look to just eventually sell all of this stuff off. I wouldn't be completely opposed to have like a banana or two because that does build up stamina, but I don't really think that we're going to keep the food around. That's kind of getting in the space of half-assing it, right? We kind of want to whole-ass one thing, and that thing we're going to be whole-assing is building around the hammer. And then if we start to do like a little bit of food and then do a little bit of vampiric with the leather armor and then like a little bit of stuff with the hammers, that's just half-assing the build too much. And so I think if we start to take the food, we're just going to keep going down that path. So I'm going to go ahead and skip on over that. Now we're starting to see some of the vampiric stuff turn up. This is expensive. The thing with this is like this is what I'm uncertain about with the game, is the decisions you make along the way seem to affect the shop. Like, I don't think it's just some kind of bias to where the stuff I want to see in the shop either does or doesn't appear, and then I just like think about it, right? So it's like we want daggers, daggers don't turn up, then we did something wrong with the daggers, right? I'm not certain if that's the case, or if it does kind of read into what your build looks like, and I think it does. I'm going to have to research that a little bit more, but like this is where it's interesting to me in terms of this blood amulet. Like nine gold at this stage of the game is a lot for this amulet. We don't have a lot of vampire build around, and so it is like a little weak at this point. But if it's going to make the blood amulet and the vampiric stuff continue to show up later on through the run, then I do want it. And so I'm not entirely certain. I feel, I guess, at least reasonable enough at this point to come in and add it. We have the decision, do we want to load up the vampiric armor or the dagger? And I'm going to hit the armor. This is like the big kind of build around aspect to vampiric stuff, if you ask me. This is the one that actually deals damage to yourself. And so if you caught our intro to the pyromancer, right? We were building around in that video the dark subclass item that nukes half of your health, and then you can vampiric that back up. The same thing applies with the vampiric armor in the sense that you're going to convert 30 health into 60 armor, and then you're going to lifesteal that back up while your armor gets chunked down. And so I think that's just a little bit more important than loading up the bloody dagger at this point. And then with the daggers as well, if we pick up poison flasks, I'm okay to have poison daggers as opposed to vampiric daggers. Aight, let's jump on in. Okay, up against the old steel gooby. Let's see if we can take this one down. It's deceptive. He's going to start scaling up. It doesn't seem like they're doing much, but you do start to add on a lot of attack power to your items as that steel goobert levels up. Looks like it's just tacking on to the bow. It's only at 6.8 damage. It's like, it doesn't feel like he's dealing enough damage to take us down. But all right, the big decision of the round. Do we want to get the cheap vampirus to go for the lifesteal, or do we want the hexblade just getting us another dagger? And I'm pretty certain I just want the hexblade. I'm not a huge fan of building around vampirism. It's a nice kind of secondary piece to the puzzle to give us a little bit of longevity in combat, but given the choice to deal damage or given the choice to sustain longer, I want to deal damage. And so it is nice that the vampiric armor does extend our health with the vampiric stuff that it does, but at the end of the day, if I could deal 100 damage or heal 100, I would rather be out here dealing the damage, do the proactive thing. And so I'm going to go for the hexblade out of that one. All right, but we got a cheap gem here. We can load up our weapons a little bit differently down here to get additional stacks on the coffin. I kind of want this other box of riches, right? We're up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sockets. Just load everything up. So we can add that one in. And then there is the vampiric hungry blade. I don't think we need it, right? We're stamina locked as it is with the hammer, and so I just don't want to make it worse. We can do something like this, I guess. We might be able to start making this a little bit better, but just like moving the hammer out will give us one more slot, but I think it's okay at this point. What do we got? A little scary. The sun armor will start nuking the debuffs, and we don't deal them super quickly, right? You get a lot of poison debuffs running with the poison potions, but maybe we're just doing a lot more than I expected. We shot up into the 20s super fast, so maybe it is just out here popping off. Okay. Rockin' and rollin'. So what do we got now? We got a chipped emerald. Happy enough to pick these up. Again, those are going to look nicely on the daggers, tie in to our theme just a little bit. There is another pestilence thing up here. I mean, I guess we might as well. We got a bunch of money at this point. Okay, so again, don't want the fly agarics. We will pick up the chipped rubies though. Do we want the leather boots? I typically don't like these. Just like 1 luck, 1 empowered, 8 armor isn't that big of a deal. It doesn't combo up into the vampiric stuff, and so it's not super strong. Like, I think the only thing that actually upgrades the boots is the berserker. What turns up with that if you search? Boot, nothing. Boo. Oh, I don't have the thing select. Yeah, it's just the leather boots into dragon skin. I guess like 1 empowered isn't horrible, right? Given that we can strike so many times with the daggers. But I can't convince myself. A lot of times I can convince myself to pick up this garbage, and I'm having a hard time doing it. So we'll let it go. But let's upgrade to another poison dagger. We got gems in all of our items. Looks good to me. I guess that is a minor argument to pick up the leather boots, is if we want to just have another socket. We have a lot of bag space left, is the kind of interesting thing with how this has gone. I can't convince myself that the 1 empowered is enough. So what do we got here? Thorns build. Thorns build is pretty scary to me. We're getting so much like little chip damage. We have a lot of like a death by 1,000 cuts kind of aspects to our build here with the triple daggers. Not surprised that we got aced by the the Thorns build, and so not something we're really wanting to go up against. All right, moving forward, how do we feel about things like the flute? Like I typically don't like the flute with the Reaper. You know, you want to have clovers, you want to have the little heat items so you get maximum targets out of this. We have a bunch of 2-stack items at the minimum, and so I don't think that's what we're looking for in our build. Otherwise, Wolpertinger I'm not opposed to. It is a little expensive. I would prefer if it was on sale, but getting that stamina regeneration is nice, and getting the additional buffs throughout the battle is kind of nice as well. We don't have a ton of needs in terms of what the build presents, and so it's not that bad. I'd probably rather just have another box of riches, though. All right, we'll pick up the gem. These other items aren't particularly impressive. Got a bag, sure thing. I don't think we really want the amethysts. Like, this strikes me as the gem that we would be selling over the course of the game, right? Like in terms of like our damage based things, I don't want to just remove random buffs from the opponent. That's too slow. I want to have damagey stuff on our weapons. I want to have either chipped topaz or emeralds for the poison, and then on the armor I want rubies so that we get the additional healing. And so I think we'll just let that go. It does only cost 1 gold, I guess. It's a fairly easy sell if we don't want it at the end of the day. I am kind of interested in additional bag though, or I'm sorry, in additional armor. Maybe that's where we'll go. We got a lot of bag space that we're still just building up to out here, and so I think that that's reasonable. All right, but we'll make that final usage out of the bag slots we have here. We're up to the full 8 in terms of what our coffin can do. Neat. That's what you're supposed to say, right? You said neat. Let's get these emerald chips out here. Can load up the flawed topaz this way. At least picking up a little bit of stamina isn't horrible in the backpack. We got another blue in here. Sure. The blue man group for men that are feeling down. I love that. I tried to pick back up into Arrested Development maybe a couple years ago, and it's like it's easy to just like watch a couple of episodes, but I can't just get like hooked in. Like it's so easy to just get hooked into The Office, got hooked in on Parks and Rec, got hooked in on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like I love quite a bit of the work that they do within Arrested Development, but Just couldn't bring myself to watch it again. All right, what are we doing here, though? We got interesting stuff. Definitely want another dagger. I'm fine to pick up another leather armor. It would be nice to pick up, you know, an additional, like, blood thing. I'm surprised we haven't seen any more, but, you know, otherwise I think this build's going okay. We'll pick up the potion belt. Again, if we find yellow potions, I'm good enough to come in and activate those, and so... now we just got to figure out how to get this leather armor, get this leather armor appropriately in our bags. I think we'll look to do something like this. We're gonna again start getting rid of these foods and just try and load this up completely with items. I like how that's looking. Still managing with our 2 gem boxes. I wouldn't be opposed to finding another one. I don't want the dancing dragon, right? This doesn't tie into anything that our build is doing. I don't want to spend the stamina on it. It doesn't seem like a win to me. But we'll load up another emerald. That looks good. We're getting pretty far along with the sapphires up in the top. I guess we'll put some of these things into our armor sockets, and then that's kind of where we're stuck in terms of our gems. Just make sure all of our daggers are locked and loaded, our weapons are loaded, and then the gems will, or the armors will have as our secondary thing. Weird seeing the deck of cards. Oh no, it's not. We're the Reaper. I was like, why are the deck of cards turning up? We're not the Reaper, and then we are the Reaper. You're not usually so combat focused and combat oriented with the Reaper, and so good pickup there. All right, yeah, running out of stamina. That sucks, but at least we're still clocking along with all the daggers, getting them up to 40, 50 poison, looking good. Our armors are still looking strong as well. Next poison should do it. Got him. All right, so yeah, we made it through the easy rounds. Let's just kick off into survival mode. I think that we're strong enough to really punch through and fight through this. I think we're in decent shape, and so upwards and onwards, my friends. And so yeah, these I don't really want any of. The health potion, it's a touch awkward in the sense that we're pretty quickly refilling all of our health from the vampirism, and so I don't think we need that in here. We'll pick up the emerald though. I'm not opposed to the helmet. Having this kind of early game damage reduction isn't horrible. It gives us a little bit of time to scale up. We don't currently have the bag space for it though. I guess like we can sell some of this garbage. We can start to get rid of some of these foods and make a little bit more space for this thing. I think that's reasonable. Let's pick it up and then just take a roll and say maybe we'll find another bag or something. Sure. All right, now let's get our items going. We want the rubies and the armor. The purples are the ones we're looking to get rid of. Got the good greens in our daggers. That looks good to me. That's the way Snoop Dogg likes to do it. You get the good greens in your daggers. And then how can we fit the helmet in? Just bring the bag up to the top. Give him a little rotate. Kind of want to sell the purple and pick up this red. We'll be able to upgrade it after this next round. Okay, seems reasonable. Getting into these higher impact builds, though, people have decided their build is strong enough to go to the end. Got a little bit of dagger build from the opponent here. Both of us going daggers. We just annihilated this guy, I think. Oh, he healed back up. I was staring right at his lantern and thought that we just crushed it, and we ended up crushing it at the end of the day, but it wasn't immediately apparent. All right, so let's see here. We'll upgrade the rubies that way. We do have an upgrade down here for the blue. Getting the greens going as well. Let's pick up the red. Why not? Let's see what else we can find. We've got a bag. We do have an unupgraded dagger down here, so I'm going to want the pestilence flask. We can start the upgrade process on that one. Now, what else do we got? We can upgrade the topaz if we purchase it. I'm kind of interested in just selling the blueberries and then upgrading with the topaz. I don't think that we're going to really use that any much longer, and then at least lets us continue to upgrade the gems, because what's eventually going to happen, right, is We're going to get the flawed blue gems into regular sapphires. That's going to open up a slot. Then we're going to turn the 2 regulars into a perfect. That's going to open up a slot. And I just want our slots to stay full the rest of the way. And so I think it's reasonable to still just keep these gems going and get rid of the food. All right. It's happening. Up against the dragons. Do you like dragons? You want to dragon these nuts? You're welcome. For you millennials out there, you can say, do you want 2 CDs? You ask a youngster out there if they want 2 CDs. They don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They don't know what a CD is. They didn't walk around with their fucking Walkman. They didn't load up their Linkin Park album into their Discman and go to school in the morning. They at a minimum, they were firing up their iPod, and so poor things out there. All right, let's see. We got another potion belt. That's fine. I wanted the heroic potion coming out of here. Got more emeralds. Get some more of that beautiful, beautiful poison coming in on the opponent. That looks good. Continue to upgrade the gems. We can get some purples upgraded out here. That seems fine. Let's see. We're gonna need to rearrange this a little bit. I want to get the good yellow on the hammer. That's fine. I think we can do this. We can put the blue in the helmet and then put the green in here. Then the blue will still upgrade. Sure. We can do the same thing over here. Upgrade the reds. I don't think the blue is as good in the armor. Right? It's pretty garbagey up here. We're not going to be gaining any... Maybe that's reason enough to just... Shit. My bag's going to shit. Hang on. It's like we do still get quite a bit of value out of these red gems in the armor, right? That's what we're looking for. If you're not familiar with the gems in the armor, your healing is improved. That's what we're looking for. We have attack speed out of the topaz. That's good on the hammer, and then we want these emeralds in our weapons to give additional poison. I think we arranged that well enough. But definitely feeling better picking up these endurance potions. Let our hammers keep on striking. See if we get crit down out of this one. He's booming us. He zinged us pretty hard there. We do get like a little bit of crit protection out of the helmet, right? It gives you the 25% chance to prevent criticals, but you really need to get it upgraded off of the dark crystal to get the 5 seconds of protection. That's fine. I don't think we want a stone skin potion the helmet, right? It does reduce the damage taken and it just goes the whole way through. Hang on. Reduce damage taken by 25% for 5 seconds and gain the armor. Oh, it just does it the whole time. I was thinking this worked like the stone armor, which just flat out your stamina usage is increased by 20%. Like, I had no desire for that, but the stone helmet kind of does what we want. Sure, we'll pick that up. We got an emerald in here. I want to snatch that up. Topaz looking thing, sure. Is this upgraded up here? Yeah, all of our daggers are poison. Like, I'm a little unsure what to do here in the sense that, you know, picking up the poison flasks isn't that bad. You know, we can still just use it with the heroic potion, and then if we find another dagger, we can upgrade it. I guess we have 4 rounds to go at this point. Maybe it's not too upsetting to pick up a flask, but I'm just going to reserve it. I don't want to sell a bunch of stuff just to get that active. Let's see. Need the potion up top. Guess we can just do this. I guess it does have a pretty good chance of activating, but we might as well get it loaded up with the heroic potion. No reason to not stack our potions together. Fast attacky hammer, that looks good. Poisons on our daggers everywhere, that looks good. The sapphire does suck now. Like, you can leave it in the backpack and just do a little bit of frostbite, I guess. We're not gaining any mana, though, so it's not going to do anything in that sense. Sure, pick up the stone. We got the space for it. We'll just sell it. Okay. Something's happening there, right? up against the old armor dogs. Like we're starting to crush. He hasn't hit his battle rage yet, but we spiked that poison up really fast. Got him. Okay, okay. So let's see. We got another bag. Like the bags aren't super important at this point. Like it seems like we're, reasonably stacked in terms of what our bags are capable of doing. Like we can just sell all of these food and not really care about it. So a bit of upgrade potential there. Get these amethysts on board. Sure thing. What is this? Our poison daggers just completely out now? I guess that's where we'll put the flawed sapphire. I guess these topazes aren't as bad as I was giving them credit for. It's like we were getting rocked by the rangers. That's why I wanted to go and get the stone helm. But getting that 4% chance, I don't know, I guess a 4% chance to stop a crit isn't that bad. It's like they're going to be like 100% chance to crit us and we're a 4% chance to stop that crit. Like that doesn't sound like the greatest exchange to me. It's better than nothing though, I guess. All right. I'm not opposed to picking up this banana. Let's see if we can't make these bags work out right. When there's a blood amulet as well. We'll save that for next round. Alright, so our potions look good. We'll upgrade to the mega potion. That's good. Got another sapphire. Leave it in the bag. Okay. I think we're good to go. We got the reserve on the blood gem. 3 more rounds. We'll get 1 round of usage out of the blood gem. Not bad. Not bad. That's how you know you're doing it right with your 1 round of usage. So what do we got here? The old Vampiric Reaper. Let's see who can take this one down. Looks like we're just annihilating through their health total. Loaded up with poison. This is why I don't like the sustained stuff. Like they're crashing through our health just a little bit, but this feels like dealing damage is so much better than healing it back. All right, that looks good though. Blood gem, sure thing. Down to 8. I do kind of want to pick up the flawless ruby. What do we have left to sell? We can sell the stone again. Something like this. Nothing too crazy there, but poisons in the weapons, the sapphire in the weapon because we're out of poisons. This purple at the top is upgrading. We could, I guess. Well, the ruby is in an armor as well, right? We've got the ruby in the helmet. Okay, I'm on board. Next battle. Fully stacked pyromancer. Look at that person using all of the slots in their bag. Who would do that? We're nowhere close to using all the slots in our bag. Got him up to 80 poison, crushing right through that. The sun armor is not doing enough to prevent it. Rip. Okay, okay. Get ourselves into the final battle. So, as far as this one goes, we don't really want things like the chipped emerald. We're not stacking anymore at this point. We just want high-powered stuff because this is the last round. And so I'm going to pick up the flask. The thing that is a touch awkward is... I'll need to kind of determine if we're going to run out of bag space or not. I think that we're okay and don't need to pick up the purse. But what else are we going to purchase if we don't get the protective purse? I mean, it does give us 8 armor. That doesn't really sound like a lot, but I think there's a pretty high percentage chance that we just roll through this stuff and then don't find anything that we want. But captive resilience is kind of fine. Gives us that nice little bit of early game damage prevention. And so, let's see, make sure we've at least got our item set up how we want. We've got, I think we want to put, even though it's not super strong, I think we do want to put the 1 emerald within the dagger. So all of our daggers are emeralded. That's good. After that, we have rubies in all of our armor. That's good. That's what we want. We've still got our hammer lined up with topazes. That's good. So from here, guess we'll put the purples in to the armor, and then we'll leave the blues out so that they can just inflict the frostbite. That's kind of like their best usage. Gaining mana doesn't matter. We don't want to replace our emeralds in the weapons anyways. We're not gaining mana, so we don't do the armor and other sockets thing, so at least we get a touch of value out of that frostbite. All right, yeah, this looks good to me. All right. Game on. Another Reaper. Seems like kind of an oddball build with those rando cards out here. They are starting to stack up the life gain, though. We outdid them initially in terms of poison, but it looks like we're falling down at the end. Not quite certain what happened with that one. Their build looks dumb. Like, I'm not entirely certain what this is doing. We just got outdone by the struggles, but it looks like a very half-assed build to me, where you have a little bit of vampiric stuff, a little bit of card stuff, a little bit of dark pet stuff. They even have... Oh, the Mr. Struggles is the thing. I was looking for the vampiric item out here, but I didn't quite see it. Surprised we lost. I'm not certain where that went wrong, but at the end of the day, not a bad run. Jumping from gold to platinum, having a good amount of success with this this combat-centric, this combat-heavy Reaper, coming out here and giving the old pokey pokes with the daggers and stuff. It's a nice little build that we got together here today. And so, I think that was a good run. I think with this one, this is our second video where we kind of tried to do hammer builds, right? We tried to do a hammer build in the last one. We got to pivot away from it very quickly because the daggers never turned up. I feel like this one gets to showcase how that can really work out if the daggers do show up, right? So in this one, we had the early dagger and the hammer, and then we had 4 daggers at the end of the day, 3 of them loaded up with poison, and then stacked up with additional poison based on those sockets. And so I think this is a kind of, interesting build that you're able to take advantage of, knowing that you get the good dagger out of the Reaper. And then how do you take that to the next level is making that recognition that the sockets are going to be good and important. And so you get, your core part of the build is the hammer with the daggers, and then the kind of secondary supporting roles are the vampiric items and all of the various sockets that you're able to put out. And so to me, it's at least important. There's a lot of distracting things within the Reaper. You can chase after the food, you can chase after the potions, you can chase after the pets and all that stuff. I think this is at least a decent primer on, filtering out all of the noise and then really focusing in on the things that can make this build work. So I think that was a nice little run, a nice little battle. And so, good stuff. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way, and you had a good time watching. This is Busted Me. Thank you for being here.